Before we begin today's video, I'd just like to let everyone know that I've recently reopened my GoFundMe for brand new sound equipment, so if you'd like me to have cleaner and crisper sound, then consider donating to my GoFundMe today in return for awesome rewards. Thank you. Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to another episode of Jambareeqi Orange, the show where I let my patrons decide what I review. The options for this episode's poll included Monster High New Girl at School, Halloween 2018, Wendell and Wild, Casper, What We Do in the Shadows, and Nope. They chose Casper. The devious Carrigan and her attorney Dibs attend the will reading of Carrigan's deceased father. She finds out that she's inherited an old mansion called Whipstaff Manor. At first, she's disappointed, but then learns that it hides a secret treasure. Unfortunately, Whipstaff is being haunted by three mean ghosts called Stinky, Stretch, Fatso, and their nephew Casper. Carrigan consults a variety of paranormal experts, but none succeed at getting rid of the ghosts. Meanwhile, Casper feels very alone as a ghost. One night, he catches a documentary special on afterlife therapist Dr. James Harvey. Casper develops a crush on Harvey's daughter, Kat, so he uses his supernatural powers to draw Carrigan's attention to the documentary. Dr. Harvey and Kat move into Whipstaff Manor, befriend Casper the friendly ghost, and try to put up with his obnoxious uncles. When Kat goes to her new school, she has an awkward first day, but her classmates vote to hold their annual Halloween party at a spooky new mansion. Later that day, a popular boy asks Kat to be his date at the party, but it's really a plot being cooked up by the class bully. Kat is ecstatic that she has a date, while Casper is super jealous that Kat is into someone else. Kat then learns that Casper can't remember who he was when he was alive or how he even died. With Kat's help, Casper recalls how he died in a sledding accident. The grief consumed Casper's dad so much that he built a resurrection machine called Lazarus to bring Casper back to life. Casper manages to remember where Lazarus was secretly kept and plans to use it to become mortal again. However, Carrigan and Dibs have other plans. I think a big problem that stands out with this movie is that it didn't know what it wanted to do with the Casper IP. There's this air of uncertainty throughout the movie that makes every creative decision seem shaky. I mean, I'm not even sure what the film was going for tonally. It wants to be wholesome, goofy, and cute at times.
No problem.
But it also has a mean spirit and lots of irreverent adult humour.
You can haunt me all you want, but it's gonna be in a great, big, expensive house with lovely purple wallpaper and great big green carpets and a little dog called Carrigan, a bitch just like you.
It's like it wants to be a Casper movie for a cynical 90s teen generation, but also hopes to attract young kids who like the Casper cartoons. Yet it's also trying to be a black comedy for grown-ups in the vein of Beetlejuice or Death Becomes Her. It never seems like it has a consistent audience in mind. This precarious approach to adapting Casper really shows in the plotting. There's a copious amount of things happening in the film that are all jumbled together. You really have to perform mind gymnastics to see how some of these plots tie together too. It's like the producers had loads of different ideas for a Casper movie and mixed them into an overstuffed, murky soup. Every character has a multitude of conflicts at hand. Harvey is trying to play therapist to Casper's uncles while dealing with his own grief. Kat is struggling at school, looking forward to a date, helping Casper find his past, and having to host a class's Halloween party. Plus Casper himself wants to win Kat's heart, all while dealing with trying to remember how he died. Meanwhile, the villains seem to be in a movie of their own. For a lot of the film, they just watch everything happening from the side or follow characters from behind. Then, once the resurrection machine appears, they steal Casper's juice, realise that becoming a ghost could help them float through walls to find the treasure, suddenly turn on each other in a race to murder the other. One of them gets turned into a ghost, and now she's an out-of-nowhere face-to-face threat for our heroes. What is happening? So yeah, the film is this cavalcade of too many ideas that only loosely connect. It's kind of bonkers and wild.
Hey, hopping fast. It's my turn in the oven. Dibs! Get this thing cooking, you flaccid little worm, you!
To me though, the biggest problem with the film is Casper himself. While he's got this friendly ghost angle going for him, I actually found him to be pretty detestable. He sees Kat on TV, develops a crush on her, and immediately tries to manipulate her life into a situation where she has to live with him, even though in her TV interview, she said that she had just started adjusting to yet another new school.
Could you just talk to us?
Look,
It's the first day of school, and I'm sure I'm gonna have homework, so could you please?
He was not listening to her and only cared about what he wanted. Then throughout the movie, he continues to act creepy or demonstrate how he doesn't respect Kat's feelings or needs. He behaves petty and jealous when Kat finds a Halloween date.
Come on, we'd have a great time together.
Casper, I have a date.
What's this Vic guy got that I don't, huh?
Tries to force Kat into having a romantic Superman scene with him, while she's kicking and screaming for him to stop.
Casper, no! Don't! Casper, no! Casper, no! Casper, no! Oh my god! Hi, this is very high! Casper! Casper!
Kisses her while she's falling asleep without her consent or knowledge, acts very stalkerish and invasive in Kat's life, and the whole "can I keep you" just comes off as controlling and possessive rather than romantic.
Cat? Can I keep you?
Now yes, he does eventually do something selfless for her in the finale. When Harvey accidentally becomes a ghost, Casper sacrifices the last juice to resurrect Kat's dad. It seems noble, but Casper's tone just comes off as more bitter than humble.
Casper. This is the way it's gotta be.
Even after helping bring Harvey back to life, he goes back to sulking about Kat having a Halloween date.
Your date's probably waiting.
While it's sweet that Kat's mum rewards Casper with a chance to be alive for the Halloween party, I don't like how he's acted creepy and passive aggressive throughout this whole film, only to end up with a chance to be with the girl he forced into his life. He may be a friendly ghost in premise, but in execution, he's very unlikable. I really struggle to sympathise with his loneliness and troubles because of this. Okay, let me make it clear that I don't hate this movie. Yes, I think that this is a very misguided adaptation that botched up a lot of things, namely Casper himself, but some aspects of the movie are pulled off surprisingly decently and hold up okay. While I'm not a fan of how Harvey drags Kat around for his career and quest to find his dead wife's ghost, I do think that the film handled the relationship between this father and daughter quite well. This is mainly down to the believable chemistry between Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman. I don't see two movie stars playing pretend. I buy that this is a father and daughter who are dealing with grief at the same time. They've been growing apart, but you can still see a family love between them.
You go with me this one last time. If I don't find what I'm looking for, then it's over. No more moving, no more ghost mining.
You promise?
Promise.
The movie also tackles the topic of grief quite authentically. I lost my own father this year, and there are scenes in this film that really capture what it's like to miss the deceased. There's a scene where Kat laments her mother, and you can really feel her grief for her nostalgic memories of her mum, with a lot of the emotion coming from Christina Ricci's brilliant acting.
Sometimes I worry that I'm starting to forget.
Forget what?
My mom. Just certain things. The sound of her making breakfast downstairs. The way she'd put on her lipstick.
Plus the moment where Harvey reunites with his wife's angel is perhaps the most beautiful part of the film. There's so many mixed emotions coming from Harvey in this moment. He's joyful to see her, but also sad that he knows it'll be brief.
I thought I'd have 100 things to say when
While I'm no fan of Casper's character, I freaking love his uncles. These three are meant to be awful, terrible characters, and the movie goes all out with the comedic immaturity and nastiness. They have this entertaining Looney Tunes energy that livens up the movie.
Anybody for a little shishka dog?
I am.
And I loved how they genuinely enjoy each other's company as brothers.
Hey, this Dr. Harvey's got a lot of spirit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's got his whole miserable life ahead of him.
So we could do him a favor, put him out of his misery.
It's also interesting how Harvey sets out to be Casper's uncle's therapist, but the exact opposite happens. Stinky, Stretch and Fatso become Harvey's key to understanding what might have happened to his wife.
She's as nice a person as they come. She's always treated you right, huh, Stinky?
I got no complaints. She's always been an angel to me.
And they show him how to have a fun time after years of sadness. Can I also just say how freaking awesome Whipstaff Manor itself is? It's very gothic and spooky, but there's also some fun beauty to its architecture and design. It has the look of your classic movie haunted mansion, but there are quirks and details that make it unique to this specific movie. Oh, and this building is full of exciting hidden secrets too, right down to a ride that takes people to an underground steampunk laboratory. I think this is an aspect of the film that will really enchant children's imagination. It's a fitting backdrop for the movie's theme of grief as well. What was once the home to a man obsessed with resurrecting his son is now the house of an afterlife therapist who is desperate to see his deceased wife again. It's almost like Casper's dad's laboratory is a warning to Harvey. This is how far a man can be driven if they dedicate their lives to seeing their lost loved ones again. The computer effects for every ghost character are surprisingly damn good for 90s standards. They're not perfect, and I'm sure Hollywood could do better today, but considering that these ghosts were made on computers in 1995, dang.
I love the smell of fleshies in the morning.
They're impressive for their time, and haven't as badly as I feared. There's this right balance of cartoony and realistic to them. The ghosts are very bouncy and flexible, but you still buy that they're translucent spirits. Finally, I have to praise the excellent music score by James Horner. This is one of my favourite Horner soundtracks. The CGI effects can only do so much in 1995, so Horner does a lot of the work to make the visual humour even more dynamic and lively. But what really stands out are Horner's compositions for the movie's more sensitive scenes. There are music pieces in this film that really capture the heartbreak of grief and the magic of the supernatural at the exact same time. I know that sounds weird, but I mean it. The standout track being Casper's Lullaby, a gorgeously composed piece that gives the film its heart and soul.
I took it out, went sledding all day. My dad said that's enough, but I couldn't stop. I was having so much fun. Got late, got dark, got cold, and I got sick. My dad got sad.
To conclude, Casper is very much the product of Universal being completely bewildered with how to adapt the friendly ghost into a Hollywood movie. A clunky, confused, and overplotted haunted mess that turns Casper into a creepy stalker. However, when you dust off all of its cobwebs, there are little things to appreciate about Casper. I can call this film many things, but I would never say that it's soulless. It approaches the themes of grief and loneliness very sincerely. Heck, I have to admire and respect this film for being so upfront about the topic of death to kids.
What's it like to die?
Like being born. Only backwards.
There's also this poignant message about the importance of holding on to memories, and the value of treasuring what our deceased loved ones leave behind for us.
My treasure!
A ball? That's your treasure?
Are you kidding? It's autographed by Duke Snyder, the Brooklyn Dodgers. My favorite player.
I've been Jambareeqi, I hope you enjoyed this review, and what did you think of Casper? Let everyone know in the comments section below, and don't forget to click that like button. So what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Orange? Well, that's entirely up to my patrons. The options for the next episode include Minions: The Rise of Gru, Spy Kids, Pokemon Heroes, Casper: A Spirited Beginning, DC League of Super Pets, and My Father's Dragon. That's a pretty awesome selection, am I right? Now don't forget that you have to be a patron in order to access this poll. What is a patron? Don't worry, I'll explain.
This is my Patreon. It's a site for my fans to support me financially on through a monthly basis. Those who donate are called patrons. Patrons can donate as much as they want and are welcome to stop donating anytime. In return for their generosity, patrons are given exciting rewards based on their pledge amount. These rewards include early access to my videos before they go up publicly on YouTube, behind the scenes content, their name in the end credits of my videos, a chance to request a review of anything at all, and much more.
I'm very excited to find out what my patrons want me to review next. Cheerio, folks.